the key. This is mini lesson 21, 212, part 3, all right? Now, you know, we make up charts that show you the most tested procedure in each chapter. 212, part 3 is fairly unique in that there's not a lot of heavy hitters that have appeared on past exams a lot. But here's what you do have. When they create a new procedure, put it into 212, they put it at the end. So now, in 2019, you've got 212-125, which is the Crime Victim Assistance Program, 212-126, Immigrant Resources, 212-127 is gunshot detection, 212-128 is the Extreme Risk Protection Order, where we're going to go and take a licensed pistol holder's weapon if we think that they might be a dangerous person. 4 procedures at the tail end of 212-125 through 128. I'll tell you what, they've never been tested before. They won't appear on a chart because they didn't exist. What we're looking at in these 4 procedures, 3 to 5 points on your test. What do you think? These are topical, topics. All right, so let's take a look at them real quick. I'm going to give you all of them in today's lesson. It's a big lesson, as always. Read the patrol guide first, then study the lesson plan, then do the questions. All right, just a couple of points on each one. 212-125, the crime victim advocate. We covered this in the year-end intra-order recap. It's the one where there's a person that works for Safe Horizon. They're not a member of this department, but they will be assigned to the station house. We call them the advocate, CVAP, C-V-A-P, Crime Victims Advocate Program, all right? And then there's a civilian member of service, like a PAA, who is their assistant, right? The person from Safe Horizon is not told to check in with the desk officer. They don't work for us. The civilian member of service is told to check in with the desk officer. They work for us, right? The desk officer, however, is not told to make a command line entry for the civilian member of service. The desk officer is told to make a present for duty entry for that civilian person that works for Safe Horizon. It's the inverse of what you'd expect. Be careful with it. So the other thing, this civilian advocate will go on home visits with the DVO or an NCO, right? Then there's a little caveat that says, make sure they wear a vest when they go on a home visit. Now here's something to be very careful of. It says they will not go on a home visit if there's an open 61 at that location, right? Makes sense, but think about test day. If it says anything like, the advocate goes on all home visits conducted by the DVO, whoa, that word all changes everything. Or what about this? What about, and here's how they do things. In an in-basket, there'll be an open 61 for that address. If this is an in-basket question, it can be really tough. Go and look and see, is there an open 61 for that location before you send this Safe Horizon employee with a vest on to that location. See, there's a lot of little things. You read that patrol guide, then you study the lesson. Take your time studying the lesson. Look at it closely and realize there's a lot of crazy questions that can be asked here. This is the key method. We're looking at it, contemplating what could be asked. Okay, 212-127 gunshot detection. Is it confirmed or unconfirmed? A lot of things are going to change operationally, of course. If it's confirmed, call the sergeant. Sergeant has to respond. Notify the desk. Desk notifies operations. Call crime scene or evidence collection. Da-da-da-da. Do you make a 61 or not? You'd be tempted to say, well, unconfirmed, no. Always make the 61. What if they go a step further? Do you leave it open to the squad or not? You'd be tempted to say, well, unconfirmed, no. Always leave it open to the squad. So, as you study, which is very different from reading, right? Always ask yourself, what could they ask? This is what we do in class all day long. You'll see when the classes start later this year. Okay, 212-128, the Extreme Risk Protection Order. It's like, you think this guy's nuts, he's dangerous, and he's got a pistol license? We need to rectify that. Who calls the Civil Enforcement Unit? Because that's who's going to really do the legality behind it. CEU. Easy answer when you look at the patrol guide, the captain makes that call. Be careful. This is what I call hidden steps. Within the captain's steps, which you don't normally read, right? It says, Captain, remind the sergeant to instruct the cop to make a second call to the Civil Enforcement Unit. So in the end, who makes the call? Captain makes the first call. Who makes the next call? It's going to say, Sergeant, it's wrong. It's the cop. Because the captain told the sergeant to remind the cop to make that call. So who calls civil enforcement? Do you see how insane this can get if you just study your patrol guide? All right. And in the end, the last piece on that, on the ERPO, as we call it, the Extreme Risk Protection Order, the sergeant does call the license division. All right, look, get out your highlighters, different colors, pens. Mark up today's lesson plan. Study the lesson plan, and then ask the questions, all right? And next week, we'll probably move on to either 214 or juveniles, maybe. Okay.